Good morning, everyone. Hope everyone is having a good week. Got an update here on the Illinois court case. Like I mentioned, we were supposed to have these like Friday, but there was a problem with posting them with the court itself. So I want to thank dear friend Sweetie for sending us the documents. We appreciate your help so much, and of course the commentary. I finally got the documents from the McHenry County Circuit Clerk. They had a posting error and there was only one more motion, an order, and a subpoena entered. And we've been having a problem with our internet. It's kind of fading in and out. We've been having a storm, I guess. Two storms collided right over New Mexico, so our internet keeps going out because it's storming. So I will try to get these up on our website as soon as possible, and for everybody, and put the link down below. Going on with her email, briefly stated, the defendant's attorney filed a motion to reconsider the previous order entered in the case, which denied the defendant's request to suppress evidence, that is, to not submit any information from the confessional process, such as any documents, reports, and minutes from the Judicial Committee meeting with the victim's father who committed the crime. As you know, he was found guilty and is serving, I believe, 45 years in prison. Well, I think these elders, who won't report these CSA cases, they need to go to prison too. My humble opinion. The motion to reconsider is arguing that information from the confessional process is beyond the reach of a subpoena. So they're still fighting, trying to quash having to cough up the evidence for the judicial hearing. The last order, which was entered on June 24th in this case, gives the parties until June 29th to respond to the motion to reconsider, which was yesterday. And hearing is set on the motions for Thursday, July 1st. That's tomorrow. As of this moment, no further documents have been filed. And I checked this morning and I haven't seen any new documents filed either. On June 23rd, a subpoena was entered where the victim has been subpoenaed to appear at the trial on this matter, which is still scheduled to begin on July 28th, and according to the subpoena, may continue for a few days thereafter. Now, I just want to mention that the victim now, it has her birthday as 1999, so that means that she's either 21 or 22 years old now. So she's an adult now, and they have subpoenaed her to come testify in these elders' court cases, which I hope that it will help the case, and it will show that they did not help her. As an innocent child, they did not help her. They didn't care. They didn't do anything to protect her. And so, our thoughts and prayers and hearts go out to her to give her strength, because she needs to, if possible, tell how horrible this was of what they did to her. Now, I just want to mention that in the previous video I had done on the update, I had mentioned that it has come forward now that when these elders called Watchtower, they had to change their motion in limine because they talked to a paralegal, not an actual attorney. And so I asked our friend, since she happens to have legal know-how, I asked her, I said, is a paralegal legally able to give advice over the phone? And she said, it varies by state to state, but I'll just read what she wrote. because a paralegal is not a licensed attorney, they typically don't have the authority to give legal advice. Some paralegals are licensed, however, because they have completed the education required by the particular state in which they have chosen to practice with respect to that field. But each state is different in its requirements, and I don't know what New York's requirements are with regard to a paralegal simply passing along legal advice given by an attorney. In the Pinkava case, I believe they are claiming that the paralegal relayed to Pinkava the advice provided by a Watchtower attorney. So then I asked, then the Watchtower lawyer would only be licensed in New York. So, technically, legally, they would not be able to give legal advice to all these different elders in these different states. This is what she wrote. An attorney has to be licensed to practice in each state they wish to practice in by being educated in the laws of that particular state. And it's obvious to me, I don't know for sure, but it's obvious that all the Watchtower lawyers have not studied and got themselves updated on every single state and U.S. properties laws. Their territories like Puerto Rico and Guam, places like that. Because they're telling these elders they don't need to report because of the confessional privilege. Well, that tells me they're not up to date on the laws. Because they were going by an old law, a statute from the 90s in Illinois. When they told Pinkava and the other elders they didn't have to report it. They were not up to date that the statute had been changed in, I believe, if I remember correctly, 2004, where it made clergy a mandatory reporter. So, maybe Pinkava is right that he got bad legal advice. But this should send a red flag out to every single one of you elders. You're getting bad legal advice from Watchtower. Going on with her comment. However, each attorney has to complete the required education for each state he or she wants to practice in and pass the bar exam for each state he or she wants to practice in. And that bar exam can be different in each state, and no bar exam is easy to pass. A person who gives legal advice and who is not licensed to practice law can be charged with practicing law without a license. In the Pinkava case, we just don't know if the Watchtower attorney was licensed to practice in Illinois or whether the paralegal was authorized by New York law to simply pass along legal advice provided by an attorney. So thank you, sweetie, for some insight on that. I know you're not giving legal advice, but it does bring up a lot of questions that I had. It's like, okay, if these lawyers in the legal department do not have the legal right to practice and give legal advice to all these elders in different states, then could Watchtower be sued? And I was talking to a certified lawyer, an attorney from Australia, and they said, the elders should be sued. Watchtower should be sued. Yeah, Watchtower should be sued for this because they're practicing law in these states and giving legal advice that they have no right to give. They're only doing this to protect themselves, protect the organization. So, it brings up a lot of questions. So, all right. Well, I'm going to go through some of these documents here. This is the defendant Pinkava's motion for the court to reconsider its May 26, 2021 order denying defendants to quash subpoena. Latin, I'm not even going to attempt that. They want to quash, like I said, all documents, reports, minutes generated by the Judicial Committee formed for Arturo Hernandez, as these documents clearly are privileged and part of the Jehovah's Witness confessional process. And so that's one document. This other one is handwritten, and lawyers, they write about like doctors. This cause coming before the court for hearing on Pencave's motion in limine. Number 2, due notice given, and the court being fully advised in the premises, it is hereby ordered defendant Pencave's motion in limine number 2 is denied to reasons stated on the record. Bad writing. And then the other one, like I said, is a subpoena for the victim, who is now an adult, to come and testify at the trial. So anyway, that is the latest updates on this, and as usual, we will try our best to keep everybody, updated on this, because I think it's an important trial that all of us should be paying attention to, and especially Watchtower and these elders. And I know there's a lot of you PMO elders, and you're very concerned about this, and I know of several who have stepped down now. Well, stepped aside, given up their position as an elder because of this, because they're afraid. They're afraid of being charged. They're afraid of going to prison, and, concerned about what's going to happen to their family if they are. So, this is all viable concerns. And, we would never want to try to talk an elder out of either staying in their position or, giving up, resign from their position. This is a decision they have to make. But, yeah, you're right. You should be concerned. Because, Watchtower, they may appear to try to help you, but they're going to do it to where they protect themselves. They're going to protect their legal department first. They're going to protect the organization first. And, if it comes to elders getting bad legal advice, yeah, they may try to help. But, like you see, they're trying to just quash all of the evidence and documentation from that original judicial committee, in the confessional. So, like I said, I think this is important for all of us to kind of, pay attention to what is going to happen, because I think this is going to set a precedence. I think it's going to set a precedence, and everyone that I have talked to that has a legal background, they're paying attention to this case because they know it's going to set a legal precedence here in the United States and hopefully worldwide. That these elders, these circuit overseers, all of these will now be held accountable for not reporting and protecting these children. So this is a good thing. This is a good thing, because we want to try our best to bring this to the world's attention, not just the world, but the government's attention. And like we've said before, we would love to see a Senate committee hearing here in the United States, which would be the equivalent of like an Australian Royal Commission. But unfortunately, everybody's just so distracted with so much going on in each one of the countries that it's hard to get anyone's attention on any of this. They have their priorities and their agendas, and unfortunately, they just don't care. They just don't care, or don't want to, have another fight going on when they have so many other fights going on. So thank you everyone so much for watching, and thank you everybody for your emails and phone calls and cards. We appreciate it. I know many of you have been sending me emails for your nail and coffin, and several of you are sending me kingdom halls that are going up for sale, which is fantastic. So you all have a wonderful day. Bye.